If you enjoy our show, spread the love wherever you listen by rating, reviewing, subscribing, sharing, all that good stuff to help us get ourselves out there. And with that said, let's start the show. I'm Ode. That's Vicky. I'm me. You're you. We are we.
Oh my God, that was so corny.
The You, Me, We
goodness.
podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the You, Me, We podcast. This is part 2. So episode 10, whatever. But it's part 2 of our wedding story. So if you haven't listened to the episode prior to this, definitely go back, whether you're on YouTube or wherever you're listening, your DSP, whatever streaming service. Definitely go back one episode where we talked about the time leading up to the wedding, as well as the kwekwe on Friday, and we ended on where we were at when it comes to, well, how much we liked each other at the rehearsal on Thursday, and where we left off. Where were we, Vicky? Where were we? Where did we leave off? We were madly in love and looking forward to the wedding day, right? No. So we hated each other. We couldn't stand each other, but we were tolerating. No, we weren't even tolerating each other. We were. So Friday, we did what we had to do.
We were ignoring each other.
Yeah, we were ignoring each other right up until Friday. Vicky walked in to the kwekwe and we started, and then the kwekwe ended, and then, so now it's Saturday morning.
We were in a good mood after the kwekwe.
We were?
Yeah, we were in a good mood.
So we drove home together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you were gonna.
Wait, how'd you
were
get down
not
there?
gonna stay.
Oh, you had your mom's car. How'd you get down there?
How did I get down there? Did we drive together?
No, because I was there
No,
prior.
you were. We didn't drive together, but we came back home.
But how did you get there?
I had my mom's vehicle.
Oh, okay. So Saturday morning, we wake up. I had to run down to the venue where we had the event Friday night to get some chairs and take them back to the person we rented them from. So that's like 7:30, 8 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, Vicky's up and she's out because she has to go to the venue and get ready.
Start getting ready, yeah.
Yeah. So one of my best men, Charles, he's at the hotel. I run down. I didn't want to wake him up because he had been running around with us for the past 2 days. So I run down to Princeton to grab the check. I want to say we had everything. Or do we still need to go get some? I think we still need to get some glasses.
You had to go get something. I think you had to get glasses.
Yeah, we still had some glasses. Yeah. So going back to the whole DIY thing, for those of you who checked out part 1, we had a bartender, but we got our own drinks, our own plates,
our own cups, our own
knives,
coffee stirs, our own drink stirs, like our own
everything.
Just everything. Plates, glasses, champagne flutes, utensils.
Everything. And if we're the ones getting it,
everything.
means we're the ones transporting them, picking them up, loading them in, taking them upstairs. And this ties into Saturday during the day. When I say we, at that point for Saturday, it's me and Charles.
Because I'm getting ready.
She's getting dolled up. They pop in bottles. And this isn't anything funny. No, I'm literally hearing, yay, yes, yeah.
I was getting really tipsy.
I'm hearing her cousin.
And I was like, I cannot get drunk or they would be so pissed if I'm drunk at the wedding.
I'm hearing them laughing. I'm hearing her cousin laugh from outside. Her cousin Gianna. That's how she laughs. It's how it's weird. She might have to get that check. It's like,
oh, that's actually better than what she used to laugh like.
So, and while they're doing that, Charles and I are loading in stuff. We're looking for vendors because I'm getting worried that time is cutting short. I'm looking for the DJ. I see the DJ coming to set up. I see the band setting up. I'm trying to talk to her bridesmaids.
Oh, we should also note that there was terrible traffic.
Terrible.
On the Parkway. I left at 8-something. There was terrible traffic from the time I left at 8 until way past the time that we were supposed to start the ceremony because the traffic was so bad because everyone was heading down the shore. Then it started pouring. So I'm easily assuming they were like, nope, and turned right back around. And now there's traffic going down and coming up on the Parkway, which is if you're coming from like my family coming up from this area, my family and friends, going north, Parkway is the easiest way to get there. So it was just terrible traffic that day,
which affected
from like early, which affected everything.
Our guests, our vendors, us. So mind you, so me and Charles are doing all this stuff. I'm speaking to her bridesmaids like, yo, can you creatively get her to get this person's number so I can call them just to see where they're at.
Yeah.
And while I'm doing that, all I'm hearing once again, yeah, and we're sweating. Mind you, we still got to get dressed. So at one point, Vicky asked, we bump into each other.
Which it was like everybody's like, no, like he saw you.
Yeah, like,
and I'm like, trust me.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So we bumped into each other downstairs, and Vicky, what I hear and I see and hear Vicky say with an attitude. Again, I'm prefacing by saying what I perceive is Vicky with an attitude saying the photographer needs y'all to be ready at 3:00 with with that monotone, whatever. And I'm like, I still got to go get dressed.
Yeah, he's like explaining it to me. I'm like, don't go tell him. Don't tell me like this. I'm just passing the message. Like, so I'm only telling you because I saw you. Yeah. But I'm down here for something else. Like, I wasn't even looking for.
So I get kind of frustrated because I'm on some like, little do you know, I'm saving the wedding right now. I'm the reason why you about to get married. Because if not, if me and Charles ain't doing all this stuff, ain't no wedding happening for anybody in this building. Because we are saving the day right now, loading all this. So while you upstairs. Yeah, whatever. Gianna laughing still. We are loading up. We're sweating. We thank. Shout out to my sister who booked a hotel room that me and Charles were able to use to go change and get dressed.
We were able to
go
knock out
and use. We knocked out.
Knocked out immediately.
So me and Charles, but we meet the photographer and we're like, hey, we still got to go get changed. He's like, don't worry about it. You good. So
again, it's only 3 of them. Well, 4. And your dad,
4 kind of my dad.
It's not like I had 5.
And I technically had 2 best men.
5 people, and his niece was the flower girl. But I had 5 people. My wedding party was all my, I don't know how to say, my first cousins.
Yeah.
Like my first girl cousins that I'm like really, really close with.
So they had to be there.
There's 5 of them. Yeah. So
they need a lot of makeup. Like a lot. Jessica. She needed a lot of makeup.
He's so annoying. So, there's only 5 of us. There's 2 more, 2.5 more, 3.5 more Kalau with him. So it wasn't like there was just so many people that had to get coordinated on his end. So I'm pretty sure the photographer was like, all right, whenever you're ready. Like,
yeah. So
it's literally 3 of y'all.
So I'm literally loading, moving stuff up and down a freight elevator. There's other weddings going on who are also doing that. So we're trying to like steal their cart or wait for them to finish with the cart. We're waiting for the freight elevator. We're taking stuff up.
There's one freight elevator. There's 3 weddings going on.
Yeah, and 3 weddings loading in, loading out, all that stuff.
Easily about 1,000 people in the building, not counting the people that work there.
So we do all that. We finally get to the hotel so we can shower and change. We get back at like 4. Part of me is
which is still good.
Part of me is like, yo, we still got 2 hours. And part of me is like, yo, we only got 2 hours. Like all at the same time, 2 hours.
It was like 5 o'clock, and I'm like, why is everybody getting dressed? Like, chill.
Yeah, it seemed like a long time, but yet still, it seemed like you had no time.
Yeah.
So that's what we were experiencing, and in our room, we're all just there. It's me, Donald, my other best man, Charles, and our son and Donald's wife, Erica. And Erica's kind of being just shout out to her. She was like our helper. He was helping keeping Kalel busy, helping get Kalel dressed.
And Amore was in my room, which is originally she was going to be in your room.
Yeah.
But she actually ended up being in my room.
Yeah. So we were doing that. And what do I hear on the other side of the wall? Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what's funny? So I was telling him the whole time we were there, I didn't forget, but I never did the seating chart. Like I didn't do the seating chart. And we were trying to do the seating chart. And
we had a plan for the seating chart.
Really wanted to like make it so special, and I'm like,
go back. You just said her name, like no one knows. Some people probably don't know.
Okay, so Jafrazy.
Don't nobody know you? I'm kidding.
Jafrazy, she does like craft services, so she can like make you shirts. She can make you, like personalized bags and cake toppers, and she has a Cricut, so like she can do all this stuff. And her and Jasmine had been helping me. Which my friend Jasmine had been helping me with just wedding planning because I didn't know what I was doing. And Jasmine pulled off a fantastic wedding of her own. And, like this is like her thing. And me, I'm like, this is not my thing.
But leading up to that, we had a plan for the seating chart and how it would be displayed. We had a plan. We're going to print it on some paper and put it on the board.
Yeah, and then Jeffrey's is like, no, we can do this. And when did she
say this?
maybe like the day before when I told her.
So now I'm annoyed again.
Yeah, because he thinks that I'm like asking her to do this, but I'm not. She just wanted to try it, and it ended up being easier for her to just be like, "Man, whatever. I'll just read the names off the list," because there was just like, so much going on. We got so delayed, not because of that. We got delayed, traffic, and I was waiting for my grandmother. I was not gonna get married without my grandma, so it worked out the way that it worked out. But it was so like nice of her to want to like just make it so special, because you have to remember too, like. Her and Jasmine had been helping me for a really long time. So they themselves were very invested in making sure that this came out the way that they, you know, like that they probably envisioned it when I was talking about it. So, you know, thanks to them that if you saw anything that would look nice, that was definitely like something that they helped me put together. But yeah, if we were Saturday, like getting ready, other than like crossing paths with him, I really wasn't paying attention to anything Ode was doing. I think that worked out because it didn't feed into my already irritation towards you. And I think the same for you, that there was like this distance. And the next time we saw each other, we were like crying.
So mind you, the whole time we're prepping individually, is it safe to say we're both getting dressed and getting dolled up saying, shit, I got to write vows.
Yeah.
Day of. We're both like, so my running joke with my guys was, I should probably do vows, right? I should probably do them right now. And then later on, I'll be like, I should probably write my vows now. I'll be real with you. I finalized my vow.
No wonder you recognized my card. He must have been like, oh, y'all meant to be, y'all so irresponsible.
I recognized Vicky's card because I guess the videographer. Real quick. Shout out to photographers, videographers, DJs, bartenders who, because of their experience,
they come ready for the minor
things that we might not even associate that with them. Like, you wouldn't associate you wouldn't think your videographer would have stacks of cards to say, hey, if you want to write your vows, here,
like,
use this. The first time here. You would think your wedding planner has that.
Yeah.
You know? So shout out to those videographers. Like, different times when people will ask me as a wedding DJ advice for like other aspects of their wedding. I'm like, oh, well, you know what? I have seen X, Y, Z. I have done this. But he comes over to me and he's like, hey, I gave Vicky a card and
snitch.
And in case she wanted to write her vows, so you want one? I was like, come on, dog. Freestyle King. What's up? Off the dome.
I couldn't. So that's the thing, like, because they were saying, well, just speak from your heart. And I'm like, I can't do that because if I'm overwhelmed with emotion, I will spiral. Like, I will be up there for a long time just talking because I will spiral. Like, I'm just trying to, like, you know. So I couldn't do it. I had to write it. So, yes, I did write it right before I went.
For me, right then and there, when he said that, I took a couple minutes I knew the theme I wanted to go with. I didn't finalize what I wanted to say until I was literally, for anyone who might have looked back and saw us, some of the guys standing at the back waiting and hovering, that's when I finalized literally like what I was going to say. I knew my theme, for those who remember my vows, my theme was together. Mm-hmm. That was my theme, doing stuff together, learning together, laughing together, crying together, being adults together.
Why are you like this?
So that was my theme, and then I slowly but surely put it together, and I had it before we got up there. So, when would you say, when was the first time you cried that day?
When I took the first step.
The first step into the ceremony?
Yes, but it's so funny. So, like, all day I had been fighting, kind of, with this other wedding party whose guests kept coming into my bridal suite to use my bathroom. Like, not just the bathroom, because it was a bathroom and it had two areas. One was just regular bathroom stalls, and then the other side says bride only. Mm-hmm. They came coming into my bathroom, like the one for the bride, to like use the bathroom. It like I had to step to somebody's grandma. I'm like for real. I was so upset that by the time I stormed into the bathroom. She was like halfway through using it. I'm like, I don't care what you're doing. You need to stop and get out. I'm not. Okay. I'm like, you need to stop and get out. And I'm like, I don't care. Stand up, get out right now. And like, as she's walking, I'm like following her. I'm like, you better tell all your friends and all your family if they come over here.
I will end you.
No, for real. I was like, it's going to be skin on skin contact. Like, for real.
Jesus.
Like, And she's like, don't touch me. And I'm like, get out. And I was like so upset. So as I'm walking up, so the way that the place is like, one room is here, and then there's 3 steps down, and the other room is here. This is where we were getting married. This is where that family was getting married.
So we had to like cross paths. Or while we're waiting to go in, they're also on the same staircase.
Yes, they're on the same
waiting
staircase.
to go into their wedding.
So I'm starting to walk into mine. They are starting their ceremony, and it's like high-pitched singing. I can't hear my music because it's intense, high-pitched singing. And I was just so pissed that like, I walked in and like took the door and I like slammed it because I was so upset. Because I'm like, oh my goodness, they're just ruining everything. And then I'm like,
I'm about to see the love of my life.
No, I was like, let me think, because I hadn't even really looked to see who was there. But I was just so infuriated. And then I just kind of like took a breath, and then I looked, and it was so many people. And I became overwhelmed by how many people were there. Like, yes, we know how many guests we invited. But, you know, one thing about ceremonies, usually people don't get there. Like, for ceremonies. You either have, like, almost nobody there, or, like, a fraction of the people are there. Even if it's in the same place. For the most part, people are really not there.
65% of your reception guests will come to a ceremony, from what I've seen.
65? I feel like I've seen even less.
Yeah.
So when I turned around and I saw, you know, all the people that were there, I was like, oh my goodness, I think like everybody's here. Yeah. And I was so overwhelmed by the support. And just like the dedication, like I knew there was traffic, and, you know, like just knowing that people made it their business, like to be there on time. I was so overwhelmed by that I like just started like crying. And then out of the side of my eye, I can recognize people. And I was like, oh my goodness, don't look, because I'm going to cry. And like, I could see them, like for instance, Nikki, like I could see his face, and like just out of the side of my eye, I could see his face, and like I could see his eyes. And I was like, oh my goodness, if I look at him, like we're both going to cry. And I was like, oh my goodness, but I'm trying to like walk and like look nice, but I'm also like hyperventilating. And I'm like, you know, like it was very overwhelming. And then when I got to where the aisle was to walk towards you, and it was funny because Ode had his back to me, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, hello, like this is the moment and you're missing it. So technically you didn't see me walk down the aisle.
Yeah, I didn't.
You didn't see me come up the aisle. Yeah, so it was like all the way leading up to that, I was just crying. Yes, I was crying because, you know, like this moment had arrived and whatever, but I was really crying because I was overwhelmed by how many people were there. Like I was just very overwhelmed by it. Like I wasn't expecting it, which sounds very stupid because I know who I invited and I know how many people, but I just wasn't expecting. I really wasn't.
I had that moment of, oh my goodness, a lot of people here when we started doing our vows. And I literally, mind you, I had seen it. I was standing by the doorway. I saw everybody else kind of walk in, and I was looking out. But when I turned to do my vows and I looked, I was like, yo, some mad people. To the point where I said it on the mic, yo, there's a lot of y'all here.
Yes, you did say that.
But for me, my first tears fell when we were I cried several different times throughout the night. When we were in the dressing room and the videographer had us do that stage shot where my guys would put my vest on and put my jacket on, right when they went to go put my vest on me, I lost it. I had to walk away because, you know, I'm a G. I can't have y'all see me crying on camera. Thug life. So I walked away thinking, let me just walk away and catch myself real quick. Oh, you know, man up. But then I had to walk away even further because I felt it. I started crying, and my guys came out to meet me. They came out to meet me in the hallway, and they're like, yo, what's going on? I was like, it just meant a lot. It hit me. That same feeling that, yo, all these people are here in support. The fact that my guys who, in my head, I was like, I would always want them next to me when I'm getting married, by my side while I'm marrying the woman of my dreams. And they were there. Mm-hmm. They were there for me. They were there for this big moment. They were there for our entire relationship. So having them there, and knowing that the only other guy I would have want next to me was going to be our pastor. So I had everybody. I had my dad there. I had our son there. Everybody I would want next to me was there, as well as all those family. So I broke down then and there. And while you're walking in and you're nervous and you're hyperventilating, I'm standing there and I'm looking forward. And while I'm waiting, the music had just started. So I felt it coming and I sucked it up. I was like, sucked it up. I looked at George. George was our pastor. For those who
the song was perfect.
For those who don't know his name, George was looking at me. I was like, I got this. Don't worry, I got this. I almost lost it. He looked at me. He was like, all right, and he's like, she's coming. I'll tell you when. He was going to tell me when to turn around. So I'm standing there. I'm trying to hold in, and he's like, she's coming out. He's like, get ready. I was like, all right, cool. I was like, yo, just let's do this. Come on, easy peasy, as our son would say, easy peasy lemon squeezy. So he's like, all right, turn around. And part of me was like I felt as though I stopped and went, and then turned around. I didn't do that, but that's what it felt like. So I turned around, saw Vicky there, saw her mom, saw my man Ramon. Him and I did an awkward handshake. It didn't go.
He did not. He was like, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah, it wasn't really smooth.
Like, come on, man. Get it together.
So I look at her. She looks at me. We both kind of get emotional. Mm-hmm. And in my head, I'm just like, okay, don't screw up as you escort her up this little. It was maybe like.
It's like a little stage. Maybe like a foot.
Little less than a foot up. We have to step up. I'm just like, do this smooth.
No,
take
it's
her
more
hand.
than a foot.
I don't know, but it was a little, platform.
High, yeah.
Held her hand. We walked up, and George is there. Like George starts. I think we were both good, while George was doing his first couple of things. But I think for me, it was. I'm like, oh, I'm good. But then he said, let's do the vows. We got the rings. We're doing the vows. Right when I go to start my vows, I feel it's like I try to stop a tear and snot comes down my nose. I'm crying. I'm trying to. I turn away because, like I said, I'm a G. I'm a gangster. I'm a thug life. Gang. I turn away from everybody, and I just kind of I take my little handkerchief, dab. I put it back all messy. I think I called Ravi on the mic to come and help me because Ravi was my handkerchief
He was just
person.
sitting there
Ravi's like, bro, just be a man and fix your damn handkerchief yourself. So I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying to do my vows to the point where y'all mad at me, the DJ, the MC, the host. I did a terrible job at holding the microphone properly. Well, I was so
you know what's crazy? I was standing there and I'm like, is Ode not holding the mic right? And I wanted to tell him, put it closer to your mouth. His dad had to walk over and be like, raise your microphone. I'm like...
I was nervous.
Oh,
right?
my goodness.
Me, the person who will tell people, yo, hold the mic closer.
Yes, that's what I'm like, yo, he's the mic police.
And
he was like this. He's like, so Vicky, I just want to let you know. I'm like,
but I'm also trying.
I can hear you, but I know they can't.
I'm also trying to remember my vow that I wrote. I don't know, 10 minutes prior.
Fix me.
I was nervous to the point where I didn't hold the mic properly. But I'm sure people heard. But for our video, I did have the videographer. Shout out to him. He had a mic on me as well. Did he have one on you? Like a lapel mic?
No.
Hidden somewhere? So I had a mic actually hidden in my jacket.
You had a lapel? I didn't.
Yeah, because I'm a G.
Well, I also had a wedding gown on.
Yeah. So mine was able to hide in my pocket inside of my jacket. So the video should have good quality. And I'm sure he could always turn the volume up. And I think he also had a mic on the speaker, I believe. But so I made it through my vows emotionally, and then Vicky had to go do her vows, and you were crying.
Well, obviously. And
I'm watching her do the little tap of the eyes, and
I'm like,
and George, I guess,
and yeah, George is like, wow, if there was a handkerchief here, and he's like,
yeah, so he's trying to discreetly tell me, give me your handkerchief. But I'm like, I don't know the protocol. I don't know. I know there's a certain way you're supposed to dab it so the makeup. I would have probably just taken the handkerchief and mushed her face, rub all the mascara off.
It was so funny because he's like, dude, seriously? But it went really well.
We got through that. Everything went smooth right up until we left the altar. You tell it.
So the recession.
Yeah, that's not the word. Yeah,
recessional song was Alegría by Toño Rosario, which we were like, this is very fitting because I'm sure everybody's like, yes. And the song starts awesome. It's like a bunch of trumpets. So that was the song that was playing when we were leaving. So, it's a merengue and you're like all happy. And Ode decides to spin me in a wedding dress where there are candles in vases on the floor along the aisle. And the minute he spins me, I'm like, this is not a good idea. But I'm already in it because he kind of like already pulled my arm to turn. And I'm like, well, I got to just do it. And as I'm turning, I feel the dress wrapping around my feet. So I kick it back and kick like 2 candles that fell on the floor in a wooden room.
All you hear is glass.
All you hear is glass smashing. And it's so funny because everyone that was there, they were like, oh my goodness, I was so nervous about your dress. And I'm like, my dress? Girl, we're in a wooden room. Like, I was worried about our lives. Like, I was worried about this place burning down with 3 weddings happening. But it actually worked out. The candles, didn't even touch the wood. Like, they were, very wide. Like, they were very wide candles. So when they fell to the side. And so, the candle was up here, but the floor was, down here, which is weird. But it worked out. And that was funny. So we ended up leaving, and then...
Shout out to our band. We had a band playing prior to when everyone was walking in. As guests were
arriving.
Yeah, we had a band.
We had a band playing
the Young Picassos. They're not just a jazz band. They're a trio, which is they had a pianist, a drummer, and then a steel pan drummer. So it was like this Caribbean infused...
Which is kind of what we were going for the whole time. We just didn't know.
Yeah.
We just knew that we wanted to have fun. That was... But there was no way to describe that. So when people be like, oh, what's your theme? I'm like, have fun.
But yeah.
It's not really a theme, but we were going for a carnival.
So the young, I would say the Young Picassos turned up at our ceremony.
Yes.
Anyone, if you're looking to add some flavor to your wedding, to your event, to your cocktail hour, the Young Picassos, it's nothing like you've seen before.
Yeah.
A lot of people were
honestly, they set the tone.
Yes.
They set the tone because people kind of just knew what they were there for. When they walked in, it was all some of the recordings you hear people singing the songs because obviously they're just playing the instrumental versions of songs.
And not just songs. They're
playing
soca. They're
playing all kinds of songs.
Reggae, calypso, pop songs, hip hop.
And you hear, I think in one of the recordings is American Boy that they're playing. And you hear people singing and they loved it. People loved it. And I think that was a great starting touch. After the ceremony, things kind of went left because things didn't go as planned. There was miscommunication. There was a lot going on, to be honest. And we had booked them to play for the entire cocktail hour, but the cocktail hour didn't work out the way that we wanted it to.
Yeah.
Which, in a way, it worked out for me because I was not going to go to... I actually did not go to the cocktail hour, but I had no plans to go to the cocktail hour. So I technically would have never heard them. But the minute the music stopped from us walking, they immediately started playing. So I got to hear them. And I'm like...
I loved it.
I was so happy that I got to hear them. Yes, the cocktail hour didn't work out the way that I wanted it to, but it worked out for me because I got to experience them. And people technically did also get to experience them.
The Young Picassos.
So we actually ended up inviting them to stay for the...
reception.
And
they partied. So shout out to the Young Picassos.
Yeah, and they did party because you see them in the videos. Yeah. And I'm just so happy because that's what we wanted. We wanted people who partied and they danced to everything because, again, it's 2 cultures with 2 different music styles coming together, and that was it. I didn't want anybody to be stiff about oh, I don't know that music, I don't dance that. And everybody was dancing, and they kind of added to that because they were up in center, having a really good time, and that's what we cared about. So that worked out. We took our pictures. Yep. We didn't, again, ceremony happened, and then everything started to go left.
But we went with it.
We went with it because what you gonna do?
We went left.
Literally, what are you gonna do at that point? We took our pictures. It wasn't until the next day that I was like, oh, I didn't take a picture, a formal picture with my mom, my dad, my sister, which I could have done way before when I was taking pictures.
Yeah.
And I was I don't know what. No.
I thought y'all did it. I got a picture.
No, I took a picture with each person individually, but we didn't take one all together. It's fine, whatever. But I was just I was trying to explain to people, I was just very overwhelmed. And I kind of just needed to be by myself because I was very, very overwhelmed. Like, to the point where when we were walking to the other side of the room where the cocktail was supposed to happen, we were on our way there to take pictures. And, you know, some of my friends and family were still sitting on the seats closest to that side of the room.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, Vicky. And I looked at them and I put the flowers on my face and I was like, I can't right now. I can't. Like, I'm going to start crying. Like, I can't right now. And I was already crying because I was trying to explain to them, like, I'm just very overwhelmed. Like, I wasn't expecting all the support, to be honest with you. Like, I just was not expecting it. I know it sounds really silly, but it really was very overwhelming. And so, like, they're trying to talk to me and I'm like, with my bouquet, I'm like, no. And then I started to get very overwhelmed because I'm like, let's go. Like, I just want to get to the next part already. Then you went and mingled for the cocktail hour. Like I said, I was like, peace, I'm going to my room.
So we're in the reception. I think we can skip past. Like,
yeah, we walked in. Everybody walked in.
Yeah, we walked in. I look beautiful. You know, the reception was everything I would say we wanted.
Yes.
And more.
Yes.
Shout out.
It was funny because even still things were going left, but I was like,
we were having
everyone's having so much fun. No one cares.
Shout out to, let's start. First of all, our bartenders took care of everybody.
Yeah.
Our bartenders took care of our party, our chef. Like we said in part one, the food
everyone
was good,
loved
the drinks were good.
Food.
Shout out to Precious Bartending, the chef. We always
I don't know how to say his name, but his Instagram.
Go ahead, you find his Instagram.
Is. Give me 1 second. I probably should have been prepared for this.
So like I said, yes, we bought all the drinks, but the bartenders, Precious Bartending, they took care of mixing them drinks, making sure they taste good. We want to make sure they all get the props that they deserve for making our night just amazing.
His Instagram is chef _SIMEUS. I don't want to say it because I may butcher it.
I want to say Chef Simius.
Simius?
Chef _Simius.
It was really good.
Simus?
And that's what I thought. And then he also does like private cooking lessons, private dining, and his food did not disappoint. You know, it was really good. Everybody loved it, like loved the food, and that obviously, you know, for weddings that's like the most important.
And Precious Bartending is at Precious Bartending?
At Precious Bartending LLC.
And I believe Young Picasso's is Young Picasso's 2, the number 2.
Yeah.
Is it the Young Picasso's? Yeah. We want to make sure we give people the proper. I know you recently shared my post, but I believe it's the Young Picasso's or Young Picasso's 2. You just shared it on Facebook, I believe. We're going to edit this out, don't worry.
The Young Picasso's 2.
Number 2. Yeah, the number 2. So hit them all. And of course, Weekend Mix private events. That was our DJ for the night. They took care of us. They took care of our guests. They kept everybody dancing. We had met with them prior, and Vicky was being Vicky. And Vicky was like, listen, here's the kind of music I want. Oh.
But you know what? He was like, I've never seen anybody do that. And that's probably because you've never probably dealt with a major hic.
Vicky wasn't on.
That's me.
Vicky wasn't on some like, oh, I want typical. She was, I want typical, but I don't want these artists.
Yeah,
it has to be like, a live
here's
recording.
Your list of approved typical groups or artists. It has to be live recordings. I want no recorded versions. And anyone who is a cibaeño knows exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. And I was like, if you're gonna play merengue, it cannot be by a non-Dominican artist. It also cannot feature a non-Dominican artist. Like, the song has to be by Dominican people, sung by Dominican people. Like, I don't want no special feature by no J-Lo, no Shakira, nobody. It gotta be hick with hick. Okay, that's all I care about.
And I was like, I want 90s, 2000s reggae and dance hall and soca,
you know
calypso.
I should have emphasized I really love soca because they didn't play that much of it. But
what they did play,
they were playing what the crowd was vibing to, and everyone was just dancing. So in that respect, they catered really well to the party, which again, is not an easy party to DJ for because, you know, we have Dominican family, Dominican family. We have Caribbean family. We have our American friends. We have African friends. You know, we have European friends. So everybody is in a different mix. And, you know, you want to feel like they cater to you as well in the party. And they did a really good job of that.
So Weekend Mix private events. Shout out to y'all. I believe it was DJ Ignition. Shout out to Manny. They did their thing.
Oh yeah, the MC was he spoke in English and Spanish, which was important because my grandmother and my great uncle were there as well, and I have family that just spoke Spanish, so they were there. They were able to enjoy themselves and know what was going on.
Fun fact: they also DJ'd our baby shower.
They also DJ'd our baby shower.
Weekend Mix private events. One of the things,
our photo booth was the bomb.
Shout out to the photo booth.
Yes, it's called Booth O Mania, and it has always been like my favorite photo booth because they have the mirror style, and it just blended so well, and the way that they set up, it was really nice. Their service, like the way they energized people as they're taking photos, and they assisted. So it helped the lines go fast, even if the lines didn't go as fast. But you have to remember, like, because once you're there, like, and you're taking the pictures and you realize how cool they look, you're like, no, I'm going to take another one. You know, like, what are you going to do? Tell people to move? So it was really fun. And they gave us a book of all the pictures that were taken in, like, our own photo book. Wow.
A photo book.
See? That's
we have a
bilingual.
photo book. A photo book.
They gave us a photo book of all the pictures, and people were able to write messages to us, which is a great guest book. And now it has like a special cover. They were really great with like designing it and getting our input and like putting it together. So I really love their service.
The best way to describe how much fun we had, for anyone who saw our videos of everyone partying with the flags and all that stuff.
Oh
and
yeah,
all the lights.
We did the flags because again, we were going for like a carnival feel.
A lot of those videos, if you saw some of the comments that I posted, some of the captions, that was the early part of the night. Not like the early part of the dance part of the night. No, it was the early
like we
part
had just gotten there
of the night.
We just finished doing like our dancing, like we did our first dance, then we did our dance with our parents and our siblings.
And then it was party.
And then it was just straight party.
It wasn't, and it's not even like they were like, oh, no, people, no. They were just doing their regular, that was their warm-up set. And our family and friends, that was how they warm up.
Yeah. So this is what ended up happening. I know I said that mad loud. Okay. So this is what ended up happening.
You're Dominican.
With the help of Jaffrey and Jasmine, they had, I think Jaffrey bagged them. Our party favors, but they weren't really party favors.
Technically, they turned into
our
party favors.
We tried to source a flag for all our guests. So if you're a guest and you're wondering, why is she asking me where I'm from? It's because of that. We were trying to source a flag for every person. Like I wasn't just going to buy Dominican flags and Guyanese flags because, you're not, just because you're Guyanese, you're not with a Guyanese person. So we tried to source everyone's flag. Like, there were certain flags I couldn't find. An Italian flag, which was super weird. I couldn't find the African countries. I couldn't find those. I couldn't find another one. There was like about 9 countries I couldn't source the flag. And that made up about like maybe 11 people that I couldn't source their flag. So I just bought like these generic flags, and we set them up on what is supposed to be a champagne wall. We put it up there because, yes, we did a seating chart, but we didn't do it by chair. We did it by table. So people got to sit wherever they wanted. So I didn't want to place the bag and that wasn't their flag. And I didn't want to place the bag and then be like, oh, go find who's from that country. I didn't want to do that. That's a lot of work. So I just put them up, and they did like little signs of the countries that were represented that we were able to source. And I think we had like over 20 countries in attendance pretty much. So I walked over to the MC and I'm like, hey, throughout the night, do you mind just mentioning like, throughout the night, just step to the side and people can find the flag for their country. He's like, all right, cool, I got you. And like I step away and he's like, everybody get your flags. And everyone like ran over there, got their flags, and then that's when it started going crazy.
And that was it.
Our plan was that we wanted to do like in the last hour to just do like a full out like carnival, and like we'll play Dominican carnival music and Caribbean carnival music, and we're just like all jamming with our flags and having a good time. That was the plan, but it didn't go that way. it went so much better than what we planned.
Yeah.
Because, again,
that set the tone for the night.
It set the tone for the entire night. And for the entire night, everybody was like waving their flags and tying them on themselves, which is why I was having trouble sourcing the flags, because the flags, I was specifically looking for bandana flags because I wanted people to be able to tie it on themselves, because that's what you do at Carnival. You tie the flags on yourself. So it worked out really good. Like, everyone had so much fun. Man, those flags, like, took it to the next level.
So flags, party, reception.
And shout out to the people who we bought the flags from. Like,
oh, yeah.
I was beasting them. I'm like,
next
listen.
Day delivery.
Yeah, I get married Saturday. Yes, I know it's Tuesday. Can I get that tomorrow?
We had them flags.
They were like,
Wednesday
listen,
morning.
pay for this kind of shipping and you'll get them tomorrow. And they were here the next day. I was like, listen, you're in Jersey. I will drive down. And pick them up.
So reception, the flags, the lights, the ceremony, the kwekwe, we're all that stuff. We're married.
Yes. Oh, we did a last dance.
Which
was great.
We also celebrated all the July birthdays.
Yes, which there was so many.
But 12 years plus, 12 plus.
13.
And don't say 13. What's 12 plus?
It's 13 plus.
Whatever. Same thing. Literally, same thing. 10 plus years. Whatever.
Almost 15 years.
Probably, yeah. Right? I don't know. We're married.
Yes.
You change your name soon? You don't want to be a huppy? Not everybody gets that honor.
I mean, your mom was very, very direct with me about that.
You have to change your name?
She's like, you. I wanted to because I'm like, well, I want the same last name as my son. I might.
Okay.
It's my thing. Professionally, I want to keep my name.
Okay.
So maybe I'll do that. Professionally, I'll just keep my name because I just don't want to change stuff.
Okay. So we're married, and we want to thank everyone.
But it had to be end the night because we just like we still weren't really like vibing.
Oh yeah, we still weren't really.
It
vibing.
was so weird. So like we really didn't like each other. But we had so much fun. Like just like the kwekwe, we were able to, I guess, put that to the side. Even though we were like barking at each other at one point, very publicly too. I just realized that was like straight up in the middle, and people were like staring at us, and there was like the cameras rolling. I guess the photographer's like.
I'm sure if you watch it on camera, you'll realize you owe me an apology.
I mean, the photographer, so it's funny because I went to high school with him. And so he knows me. So our wedding, everyone that worked our wedding was somehow, some way, shape, or form connected to us.
A friend, a family member.
Yeah. So for the so the videographer, I went to college with him. Greek Life. We knew each other from Greek Life, even though he went to another college.
I also know them from Stepping. Greek Life.
And then the photographer I know from high school, and I'm really good friends with his wife, who I also know from high school.
Our pastor is like a brother to me.
Right. So literally everyone except for the owners of the venue,
which now they're. Friends.
It was the staff that worked there.
The staff, yeah.
So we, so he was like following me throughout the night, obviously, because he's like following us to take pictures and stuff. And right when the reception started, he's like, I feel like this is a new you that I don't know. Because I was like very emotional. I was crying, and he knows me a way different way. And then like, because he was, I guess, in closer perimeter than other people, more constantly around me, he just heard me, like, every time I had a complaint, he was standing there, and I'm like, what? I'm sure he's like, there you are, that's you. I don't know that one that was crying a lot, but that one I know. But we ended the night pretty good. Yeah, I think we were just too exhausted to care to still continue to bicker.
The next day, we kind of snapped at each other a couple times as well.
Yes.
But overall, I think our wedding day was clearly the wedding celebration for two people who had been together for 13 plus years.
Yes.
Been through a lot.
Yes.
Had some ups and downs, and
somebody's like, this is the wedding of perseverance.
Yes. And it showed. We've had some great conversations since. We appreciate everyone who was there, everyone who couldn't make it, everyone who, even if you weren't invited, you supported us.
Yes.
You supported us from the day one.
And I appreciate that a lot from people sending me messages, very supportive messages, even though they weren't invited. And trust me, if it was up to me, I would have invited everybody.
We had a waiting list.
But, finances ain't built like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not yet.
Yeah.
But seriously, though, thank you all so much. After this episode, we'll get back to regularly scheduled programming.
Like wedding puptials, too, for taking care of Amore.
Yes.
We hired Amore a babysitter because she was part of the ceremony.
There is a company for
everything. She had to
everything.
go home. We couldn't keep her. Somebody asked me, like, well, why didn't you just keep her here? And I'm like, well, she's a senior dog. And it's not so much that I didn't want her at the reception because I didn't want to take care of her. It was more that there's 200 people that will feed her crap.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not her, it's y'all. Y'all can't be trusted because she'll give you the face and she'll be all warm and you'll immediately give in. And I just can't have my senior dog eating crap all night.
Yeah.
So that's why I'd rather her be home and be comfortable. So I hired a company to come be with her, sit with her during the ceremony, walk her around with the pictures, and then drive her home safely. And they did that, and I'm really thankful that I got connected to them.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Vendors.
We made it.
I know, right?
We made it. Bro. I mean, it took me like a week to rest.
Yeah.
I slept. So I got home Sunday. Ode was taking Charles to the airport. Mm. I got home Sunday at 4. I was sending messages, watching some Instagrams, trying to repost them so that they can stay alive in my stories. I didn't get to everybody's. But I was reposting until maybe around 5. And then at 5, I was I didn't wake up again until 8 o'clock in the morning the next day. So from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m., I was completely knocked out. I didn't realize when Ode got home with Amore. I think I remember waking up to see them, but I was gone. And I'm a pretty, I have, a sleeping time span where my body's all right, you're up. We're up. But I was gone. And then just the whole week dragged because I was so exhausted. I was really, really exhausted. Because the night of the Kwekwe to the wedding morning, I slept maybe 2.5 hours. Mm. Then I was up till 2 a.m. So, again. So, it was a really, really long day, really long week before, long days, the 2 days in between, and then it was a long week after trying to get back with the energy and stuff. So
we're here.
I'm just glad. Yeah, we made it, and I'm just glad, Yeah.
So
I'm
thank
really
y'all.
Happy.
Thank y'all so much for tuning in to our little recap of our big day, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the You, Me, We podcast.